Hi, welcome to International Students Talking to Employers About Work Eligibility, presented by the UC Berkeley Career Center. This is video 1 of a series of 3 videos. As an international student, you will face this moment that the potential employer is asking you about your work eligibility and your potential need in job visa sponsorship. It is very easy for you to feel nerve-wracking and hesitant to talk openly with employers about your immigration status, with the fear that the moment you disclose your visa status will be the end of the conversation. We agree that winning an offer and a job visa with a U.S. employer is a very hard sales job for international students. However, don't take your H-1B or OPT status as a negative thing. There are career fields in the US that are in demand for international talents, and you should have faith in your skill sets gained from Berkeley degree and the multicultural background you bring with you, and wrap them up with your H-1B or OPT status as a whole story to deliver to the employers. So in this set of videos, we want to give you some guidance and advice on how to prepare and handle this conversation with employers in different phases of application. The agenda for this video series. First of all, we will talk about the 2 most common used questions for employers in the US to understand their job candidates' work eligibility. Second, we want to provide some basic guidelines for you to consider to prepare and hold a conversation with the employers. Lastly, we will discuss how to apply those guidelines in different steps of the job application, such as during online application, interviewing, or networking with the employers, with the focus on when is a good time to touch on this topic with the employer, how to prepare for the conversation, and how to pitch your value. There are questions that employers in the US cannot ask the candidate during their recruitment, such as, are you a citizen? Where were you born? What is your native language? But there are questions that employers can ask to understand the job candidate's work eligibility in the US. So what are the questions? Let's take a look at them. The first question, are you legally authorized to work in the US? The second one, do you now or in the future need a visa sponsorship to continue working in the US? Those questions can come up during your online application for a job, or your conversation with an employer at the school career fair or interview with a firm. So how to understand and answer the questions? The first question, are you legally authorized to work in the US? If you are eligible to apply for the off-campus work permits for F1 and J1 visa students, such as CPT or OPT for F1 or academic training for J1, and you will have the authorization by the time your employment begins, then you can answer yes. Please note that this question is asking about your eligibility to apply for the work authorization. So even though you are not currently under a work authorization, as long as you have the eligibility to apply for it, you can still answer yes to this question. Check with the Berkeley International Office if you are unsure. There are multiple types of work authorizations available for F1 and J1 international students. The Berkeley International Office Employment Authorization website has the most detailed and authoritative information about them. Please check the website to understand your eligibility for any of the work authorizations and the requirements, procedures, and timelines for application. Talk to an bio international student advisor if you're unsure. We strongly recommend you to understand the work authorizations you can have and apply for them early if needed. The second question, do you now or in the future need a visa sponsorship to continue working in the US? If you will require the employer to sponsor an immigration or work visa in order to employ you, either now or at some point in the future, then you should select yes. Otherwise, select no. Some students will have some special situations, such as going to graduate school or back to home country after their work authorization time. So they ask if they can answer no to this question. Well, the way we recommend you to handle the situation is that besides answering the question, you should seek opportunities to provide an explanation about your situation to the employer so there's no misunderstanding. For example, you can write up a paragraph of explanation if there is a given chance during the employer's online application. If there's not, then think about writing the employer an email or scheduling a phone call or in-person meeting can be appropriate for your case. The bottom line is that if you answer no to this question without any background information about your situation, the employers may understand your status as either citizen or permanent residence. Okay, those are the two questions you will have a lot in your job applications and how to understand and answer them. Now, let's move on and talk about some basic guidelines in talking to employers on this topic, no matter during online application or in the interview, through email or in person. First of all, be honest and transparent. Whenever you are asked by an employer about your work eligibility in the US, be honest and transparent. Don't give the employers vague, misleading, or inaccurate information. This may confuse the employers and therefore slow down the process and even lead to severe negative situation later on, such as the employer withdrawing their offer. Do your homework. As an international student actively seeking jobs, you have the responsibilities to understand the work authorization and the job visa for you to work in the US and be able to deliver that information to the employer. This way, you're helping them to help you. This also helps you to show the employer that you are interested in this position, you care, and you are a reliable person. Use only reliable resources to learn about the work authorization and visa. The Berkeley International Office website has updated and detailed information on CPT, OPT, and academic training. You can also find information about job visas of the US on the US Citizenship and Immigration Services website. Do your homework also means understanding employers' policy and history regarding hiring international employees. It will be helpful if you know in advance whether the company you are interviewing with sponsored international talents before or not, and if so, what position and result. Check our another video series named International Students, Identify International Friendly Hiring Employers for the resources to help you do so. The third one, have a conversation instead of a yes or no answer. Whether you or the employer bring up the topic of work eligibility and a potential needing visa sponsorship, try to hold a conversation with the employer instead of just answering yes or no to the questions, and then wait for their hiring decision. By trying to have a conversation, it is a two-way information changing, so that you have a chance to provide more details on your visa status and post-graduation plan, summarize your selling points to the employer again, and then answer any of their questions. Some employers may not even know about the work authorization or the visa options they can use to hire international students. So change your mindset and be ready to even educate the employers on this topic. And again, this conversation can happen through email, phone call, or in person. Last, but also most important, focus on the value you can bring to the employer. Avoid talking about why you yourself would benefit from the job and visa sponsorship. Look at the situation from your employer's perspective. Focus on what you can bring to the table. Ask yourself this question: how your employer would benefit from petitioning H-1B status for you? What is the return on investment for the employer? Thank you for joining us for this video. In the second and the third videos of this series, We will talk about how to apply the guidelines in this video in different steps of job application, such as online application, networking, and interviewing with the employers. Please check out our other videos and follow us on social media. Thank you.